There is a difference between living in Beverly Hills and Kings Manor. Now, I know that. That has to do with the asymmetry of power. It has to do with the wealthy, the privileged, and the poor and the struggling. But even the poor and struggling have access to the courage to think for themselves. They can be agents in the world. They can make a difference if they choose to make a difference. I like that scene with Brother Keanu in the third Matrix, you know, when Agent Smith just knocking him down. Why do you do it? Why do you do it? In the rain. Because I choose to. And we need more folk choosing to muster the courage to think, to cut against the grain in the face of the vast conformity and complacency and apathy and downright cowardice that's so pervasive in the society and world. Who's willing to cut against that grain? That's what we're talking about when you talk about hope. That's what we're talking about. And we're living in a moment now where so many folk are sleepwalking. Just sleepwalking. It's become fashionable to be indifferent to the suffering of other people. It's become acceptable to somehow be preoccupied with your own isolated project rather than the larger communal cause. Why is that so? Well, the market has become an idol. It's become a fetish. The buying, the selling, the promoting, the advertising, the making, the mending, so that non-market values like thinking, like compassion, like trust, like fidelity, like justice, push to the margins. And you cannot talk about a Socratic moment of learning how to think, let alone engaging in sustained critical analysis of the American empire, of the 1% of the population that own 48% of the net financial wealth, of the relation of the American empire to the rest of the world, of brothers and sisters in Africa and Asia and Latin America. Can't even engage in that critical project without creating some space so that the market morality and mentality doesn't fundamentally shape who you are and how you orient yourself in the world. Now, granted, markets are inescapable. There's no doubt about that. Absolutely. The question then becomes, how do you use them? They're human construction like any other human construction. It can be used for good or bad. It could be used short-sightedly, long-termly. No doubt. But the sleepwalking that is so pervasive these days has so much to do with the complacent and deferential attitude that too many of us have toward the market way of life, especially among young folk. Especially among young folk. And in some ways, disproportionately in Black America. Why? Because historically it's been Black America that has been at the center, if not the vanguard, of forcing America to look closely at itself. That's what Frederick Douglass did. That's what I.B. Wells Barnett did. That's what Fannie Lou Hamer did. That's what Marcus Garvey did and Martin King. But there's a sense in which we've gone from Martin's "Let Freedom Ring" to the bling bling. Boy, that's a drop. Whoa, that's a major drop. Major drop. But the bling bling of the younger generation is an imitation of the bling bling of the older generation. that they looked and saw what? Materialism, hedonism, narcissism, preoccupied with the 11th commandment, thou shalt not get caught. Gain access to power, pleasure, property by any means. They looked at the White House. They saw money shaping the vision.